Go back to it later. All right, here's your first pitch. So look at the lifts.
I always lean forward. It's so weird.
All right, lift. Good. Nothing wrong with this lift. You look almost identical to him.
Yeah. So well.
Wouldn't change the lift. Let's look at the load. Okay, this is you lean with the hip. That's good. So here's your arm is getting pretty aggressive early.
Okay.
So,
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So here I would say the reason it's getting aggressive early is because you move so slow, and we'll time you out this time on
Okay.
this.
That's what my old coach showed me. Yeah.
You're moving so slow, your arm's like, what do I do? And it's just kind of creeping up.
Okay.
But it's not a problem yet. It's just in those drills you're just learning. When you have the med balls, you just keep it low, and you'll get that timing right.
Okay.
Most part, nothing.
Because let's see how much higher mine is than his.
Yeah, and his is still delaying.
Gotcha.
It's still waiting. Yours is getting in position to try and
make up for it.
You don't have a lot of knee flexion, so you're squatting down a little bit, but not that much.
Okay.
So, and you're collapsing a little bit in with the knee. So see how his knee is out and stable. You're just starting to move in. So
okay.
And then into front foot.
Yeah, I see it doesn't.
So you get good rotation into front foot strike, which is good. Just not a lot of back leg drive. Your arm cocking, timing is fine, but if you look at your hip, your belt buckle is still pointing towards us. His are starting to rotate. Your arm cocking timing is fine, so that worked out, but you're going really high here. So there's a study that says the elbow that has to do with elbow varus torque. Basically, when it goes above the shoulder and it hyperangulates behind your back, that's going to be a stressor point.
Oh, so like when it's okay, yeah,
so
it's way above.
This is what they call an inverted W, basically, and it's what Strasberg had. That's why he's having all these problems. You're tucking high with both elbows because they don't know what to do because you're going so slow.
Okay.
So you're gradually moving, and then your arms are trying to find something to do before you hit front foot strike because you know you don't want to throw before you hit.
Okay.
So they're delaying out. So it's a timing thing. So as you move fast in that delivery, that'll sort itself out.
Okay.
It's not something you need to just, all right, I can't invert W anymore. It's just once you get your lower half more efficient, that won't happen.
Okay.
And then
so how is my triple extension though? Like my knees just
you're rotating, but there's not a lot of force.
Okay.
You're just your foot's just kind of popping up. See how it's just kind of dragging off? You see Felix turn over and push and drive? I mean, you can just tell by the hip rotation. His hips are through and yours are rotating a little bit. But that's because what you have called is early trunk rotation. So you're actually pulling a little bit with the glove side.
Okay.
And it's not an issue. It's the same thing with the arm. It's not you're pulling, it's your lower body. Your arm knows it's not getting the energy it needs. So it needs to do something to overcompensate for it. So that's why you're pulling across. And you see him, he's just got nice and tucked. Yeah. You can still see both. I see your elbow disappearing. And as you load, you gain a little. See, I want a different pitch here. It's that kind of caught in between frames. But you have a little bit of external rotation deficit there. So you're not getting a great load on your arm. The arm is the most efficient when it's at 90 degrees right there. See how it's laid back perfectly, and yours is a little...
Oh, I'm like standing up.
His trunk is forward too because of the energy from the back leg.
Gotcha.
So yours is completely vertical. So I have my tools. Where's my tools? That's annoying. Well, let me have my tools. But if I had my angle tool, we could see that his trunk was much more forward than yours.
Yeah.
And then your arm goes a little bit out in front of your face. And then I see you pulling your head a little bit. And that tells me that you're also trying to overcompensate. So you see his head is just right on, and then it's just going right into release. So this is an example. So you're more of a rotational pitcher, like a hitter, and he's more linear with the rotational complement. So this is a good... You have a very similar delivery to him, so this is something good to copy.
Yeah.
But I just see a lot of you... I mean, the mound kind of sucks, so I understand why there's some issues there. But what's good about this is you got a lot you can maximize. So I mean, you could get to 90 if you just fix a few of these things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good.
So I just gotta concentrate on keeping my chest back a little longer, and then once I explode, then it comes kind of.
Working on those med ball throws. Well, all your problems I see is just no back leg energy.
Yeah.
And just collapsing. And it's always like, well, why is there no back leg energy? Well, there could be a lack of power, but it also could be your mobility. So bringing those things both up and then working on the drills with the back leg. I mean, the back leg is more important than the trunk and things like that. Because you get that back leg to start sorting out, then everything kind of follows.
In. Yeah.
So, well, front leg extension, which you get decent here. So, I mean, that's not a big problem for you.
Okay.
You land, and your foot kind of slips, but I could see that you usually get good front leg extension. Okay. So I don't think that's a big issue for you. Your trunk goes forward after pitch release, but at that point it's pointless. So you're kind of like Max Scherzer, if you've ever seen him throw. He's a lot like you, actually, in that he rotates, and then he just kind of throws his trunk forward, but it's not the energy pushing the trunk forward. Okay. So you're doing it after your pitch release. This is really your trunk position, and then you just kind of finish.
Okay.
Pick up the dollar finish or whatever.
Yeah.
You see him.
That's just basic stuff, though.
Yeah. You see him. He finishes, and
he's still like straight up.
But most of this.
His extension's really good, though.
Yeah, when he was young and throwing 100, I mean, he was 6'4", 2, whatever, and he can move. But the point is all this stuff that happens at the end is not stuff you want to like consciously focus on. Okay. It's all the problem with what came earlier.
Triple extension.
Yeah, it's the lack of leg drive.
So like when my knee collapses, is like so when I'm like doing it, is it just kind of like doing that or?
Well, you're loading, and then because of your hip problems, you can't go any further. Okay. And so what happens is your knee starts to go in a little bit.
Oh, it goes in like that.
Yeah, in which you rotate out of, so you have some rotational force going on. Okay. But when you only have rotation,
and that's just working on the front foot strike drill and like the med ball
and drive. Yep. Okay. Those will just work that.
Because like just the drill, just the front foot strike drill would help too.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely. Okay. Another thing is your trunk's going forward a little early. Okay. I mean your head. Okay. So at front foot strike, if you look at Felix, he hits front foot. Look how far his chin is tucked behind his belt buckle. You're starting to push out because you're trying to get the energy going. So it's staying loaded back, getting that mobility figured out, and then we're going to time you out, and this will kind of tell the story too.